Austin Ekeler reportedly is asking the Chargers for permission to seek a trade. This unfolded yesterday after he was unable to get an extension done with the team. In the last 2 seasons, Ekeler has led the NFL in touchdowns from the line of scrimmage with 38. Ekeler due to make just over $6 million this season. Shannon, whose side of this are you on?
I'm on the side with Ekeler because he's overperformed the contract. The problem that I have with teams, Skip, when a player overperforms the contract, they're very reluctant or even hesitant to give him rewarding. But when he underperforms, it's a business decision.
Yep.
Well, damn, the player's a business also. He's a corporation in and of himself. So he said, I've outperformed, reward me. Because if I hadn't, you'd have cut me. And so I got no problem when players, I mean, if they had guaranteed money, then players shouldn't be wanting to come back and try to get a contract extension. Like, nope, you signed 5 years. We're going to pay you all your money over 5 years. We done with this. But by the same token, don't you come here and talk about you're going to cut me after 2 years because you don't feel I fulfill the obligation of my services. So he looks at Christian McCaffrey, and there are 13 running backs that's going to make more cash than he is.
Yep.
And he says, I want my money to be more in line with a McCaffrey who's 11.8. Although we know Zeke is about $11 million, that's going to be drastically reduced.
Yep.
Nick Chubb, Henry, Dalvin Cook, Tony Pollard, Saquon, all those guys got in the $10 million range.
Yep.
Joe Mixon makes $9 million. So he says, I want to be more in line with that. I think Fournette makes 6.5, but he's about to get released. So we'll see where that heads up. So I don't have a problem with Ekeler requesting more money because 38 touchdowns over 2 seasons, yeah, he's in line for a pay raise.
He is. I loved having him on at the Super Bowl because I just love his class and his character and the dignity he sort of conducts himself with. And I told him eye to eye on the air, in my time of covering your sport, I've never seen anybody run harder every play with the ball under his arm than you do.
Right.
So I
he's
root
a small
for
man
him.
too.
And he's a small man, but he is put together. His problem was he started from the very bottom because he was undrafted out of Western State, Colorado.
Right.
And once you start at the bottom, it's just hard to get to.
It's hard to make that up.
It just is. You were a 7th-round draft pick, but again, it's just you're not getting.
You got to go through a couple of contracts before you get some money.
Okay, to me, he is the driving force of that team. It even feels like beyond the quarterback, and obviously he's the guy, the quarterback, and they're going to have to pay that guy. So I don't know if they think he's expendable, if they're going to allow him to seek a trade, if they say running back is the one position where you just can't last in. They see what happened to Zeke. He got his money in Dallas, and he just faded away, hit the wall, and yet I'm rooting for him. He did sign this deal. I'm old school about contracts because we have contracts, and I've had them. And I've had contracts in the distant past where I completely outperformed the contract, but I signed it, and I knew it. So you just have to serve it out, and when it's over, then you can try again, right?
Yes.
And he's still got another year. But when I read that he only makes $6-point-something million for what he does for that team, he is the lightning rod of that offense. He is the. All you need to do, every time the ball's in his hand, you can flip it to him or hand it to him.
Yeah.
It's just good stuff is going to happen,
he makes things happen.
And he's going to get it in the end zone. So to your point, different from the TV business to the NFL business is that they can, at any moment, they can just say, you're done, you're out, we're done with you, right?
Exactly.
And hopefully here, I'm knocking on wood, that can't really happen.
Right, exactly.
So I'm a little torn about it, but in the end, they need to make this right because he is too valuable. Now, I don't know if they're sitting there, they got the 19th pick in the first round, or they sitting, I don't know if you know that, Bijan Robinson at Texas. He is serious business, and I keep seeing mocks where he's falling into that realm because some people think he might even be there at 26 for Dallas. Well, if you can get Bijan Robinson, you're good to go.
Right.
But even Bijan, I don't know if he could have as much impact as this still young man is having.
It seems to me teams are really hesitant to take running backs, but I wouldn't be hesitant, Skip, because guess what? They're young. They 20 years of age. Yep. I'm running for like 4 or 5 years. Okay, go give me another one.
Isn't that the way of the world? That's what happens. There was one Adrian Peterson, and that's it.
That's it.
Okay.
That's the way they're looking at it now, Skip.
I got it. Sad but true. Man.
Yeah. The most expendable position there is in the NFL.
if the Chargers agree to a trade, I think there will be plenty of suitors lining up to try their hands to get Austin Ekeler. All right, great stuff, guys, but we got to move on to Russell Westbrook. He's a guy that's taken a lot of fire and criticism, including here on this show. But is he getting a bad rap now for the Clippers' struggles? Let's talk about it when Undisputed returns. The San Francisco 49ers signed what many consider the top free agent and defensive tackle Javon Hargrave, 11 sacks last season. San Fran also signed Sam Darnold to shore up their quarterback's room. Meanwhile, the team the Niners eliminated the last 2 years in the playoffs, Skip, your Dallas Cowboys. They contacted free agent linebacker Bobby Wagner, but have not gotten a deal done.
What?
Shannon, what did all these moves yesterday tell you?
Well, it tells me that teams identify. These teams do like I do when I go shopping, Skip. I know what I want. I've identified what I needed. I know the aisle that they're on. I go get it, and I'm in and out of the grocery store in somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes. These teams in free agency has identified their guys early on, a Hargrove or a Jimmy Garoppolo and this one and that one. They've identified the guys that they need for their teams. They've got them, and boom. Jerry Jones right now, he pushing his cart up like, do I need produce? No, I don't think I need. Do I need fruit? No, I don't think I need. Do I need milk? Do I need eggs? Do I need laundry powder? He don't know what he needs.
No,
so
because he's saying, well, wait, I can wait until draft night and they'll deliver it to my door.
Exactly. Okay. And then all the good stuff get picked over, and then he'll sign a guy that was the 48th guy on somebody else's roster and try to sell you that he's the next coming of Emmitt Smith or Deion Sanders.
Right, and his name will be Bob Smith, and you and I will say, who?
Exactly. I'm surprised that they gave this kind of money to Hargrove, considering that they turned down offering DeForest Buckner. You remember Buck, after they won the Super Bowl, they traded him for a #1 pick. He went to Indy. He has 24 and a half sacks. He was a first-team All-Pro his first year there. He did make the Pro Bowl last year, so he's been to 2 Pro Bowls. If I'm not mistaken, he's younger than Hargrove. But Hargrove did have a monster year last year, 11 sacks for an interior lineman. It's very good. Pair him with Eric Armstead. You still got Nick Bosa on one side. You got Ekubon. You got some pass rushers. You got Kinlaw. So you see what the 49ers are doing. They say, and we got Fred Warner in the middle. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think they lost Jimmy Ward. But they're saying, look, we can sacrifice a little bit on the back end if we got these dogs up front to go get your quarterback. So it looks like to me the 49ers and a lot of these other teams have identified their guys. Skip, they've been working. It wasn't like the Cowboys at the Super Bowl. It wasn't like they were prepared for something. So they should have already identified needs. And if there was somebody, but Skip, you know Jerry ain't gonna spend no money in free agency. You get upset every year when you know that man ain't gonna spend no money. He told you he ain't gonna spend no money.
Not since Brandon Used Car. Remember him?
Yeah.
Victimized by Odell, the greatest catch ever.
Yep.
That was the last time Jerry plunged into the free agent market.
Right.
And I assume he ultimately regretted that choice.
Correct.
He builds through the draft. He controls and runs the draft. He has final say on every draft pick. So Shannon Sharp, I had to sit back once again as free agent, opened frenzy yesterday. And what's the first big move that I see? Wait a second. The best defense in pro football, overseen by your Shanahans. Obviously, Kyle is the head coach. Mike is the overseer, the advisor. They said, we identify the best interior defensive lineman is named Javon Hargrave, and he's on the team that won our conference in large part because our quarterback got hurt was it the opening series? I think it was the opening series in the playoff game at Philadelphia, right? That's why they won. I don't know, would they have won the game if Brock Purdy had stayed upright the whole game? Very possibly they would have. Their defense was really good, and it just got really better because Javon Hargrave was an Eagle who had 11 sacks last year as an interior pass rusher. It's hard to get 11.
Right.
It's just there's too much.
And I believe as a whole, their 49ers defensive line is better than what the Eagles had. When you look at Bosa and you look at Armstead and you look at Ekubon.
No, it's just better. And it just got better, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I had to sit back and think the balance of power just shifted even harder to the West Coast. And that's the team that knocked my team out of the playoffs, not just this year, the last 2 years.
Yes.
They came to our place, and then we went to their place. And we